Come one, come all. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. I was trying to time that with my face being revealed. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and people who think they're helicopters. Or race cars, actually. Ricky Berwick, race car. Hilarious. Anyway, as always on these podcasts, and generally have Nigel. Say hello, Nigel.
Hello.
And a man who can't read, Keith.
Hi.
He's literally only wearing a t-shirt, just for your FYI.
Yes. And there's a towel on his chair, I know that. He didn't hang up the video call, and I almost got a sight of what I didn't want to see. And that's true horror.
Oh,
that's because he got out of the shower.
I thought you might have got a glimpse of my wife. But
no. I got your bare leg.
Schedule it at 9:45, didn't you? 9:45. You
yes.
Cop block.
Desperate. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I have to schedule 90 minutes anyway. 90 minutes, halftime oranges. Everyone does that. Or is it just me? Change ends. Oh, I'm talking about football. Sorry, my mistake.
Depends which ends you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, makes my life a lot more interesting if you treat making love like playing football. It's apart from don't introduce a ref or 11 men. And on that note, we got some bits to talk about. There, we got BBC's Vigil that I watched because I wasn't feeling very well. This is the best I have felt in the last 4 days. I've been feeling like crap. I've had suspected COVID. I knew I didn't have it because I know what a cold feels like. But no, I still had to go and get fucking tested. Pardon my language. So, yeah, I watched Vigil. I laid on my bed, my office bed thing, and I sat and watched it on TV. Made some predictions right at the beginning. Pretty much right about all but one of them, which I was quite amazed at. I would describe it as lesbians on Hunt for the Red October, which is probably what it was supposed to be. And then there's the Babylon 5 reboot. That's looking interesting, shall we say. There's some positives and some negative things around it, so we'll be talking about that. And then the Marvel's What If, because it was a good one. So we had the crap one with the Thor, which was garbage, and then we had a good one with Ultron, which was pretty sweet. So, without further ado, Nigel, I know that you watched Vigil. Have you seen it all?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So, first things first. In the States, they have a TV show called NCIS, which is Naval Criminal Investigation Service, which deals with police matters involving boats. That's the easiest way of putting it. In the UK, we have the Royal Naval Police Force, who are the equivalent of the NCIS, but they also sort out spying stuff too. So, first things first, where were they in Vigil?
The Scottish police were called in.
Yeah. We've got our own police force that's helped to deal with spies, specifically spies and smuggling and stuff like that. But no. We're going to bring in a long-faced detective.
Well, I think at the time when she was brought in, it was just a murder on a boat. There wasn't a spy involved. But then when they figured out a spy was involved, maybe they were a bit too deep into it because they couldn't surface and swap the people over.
Well, it's been absolutely sort of rinsed for its not such believability. I mean, the story was all right, but the lesbian was just it didn't bring anything to the story.
No, it didn't. It really didn't bring anything to the story. Her daughter brought more to the story than a relationship.
Yeah, it's strange because she was married, had a kid, had a car crash, and then because she wasn't even the one driving, the husband was, and they went into the water. For some reason, she didn't have custody of her child, but it wasn't her kid. He had it from a previous relationship. Right,
and she wasn't.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
they never explained that.
They briefly do, but
I'll be honest with you.
They took about they took 2 seconds to explain that, but spent a lot more time on a completely pointless lesbian storyline. Look, don't get me wrong. I mean, sex education, those characters, you understand that they're gay. It's part of their character. They make a point of it. It brings something to the story.
But it's not
her being a lesbian had nothing.
It was
nothing.
It wasn't. I'll be honest with you. It felt really crowbarred in, and that's the bit that sticks out for me. The other thing too is the space that they had on that submarine. God, the submariners that would have gone. Oh, I'd have loved that space, because submariners are usually short naval men. No, you'd be excellent at this, yeah. And they apparently, I was speaking to my father-in-law, who's got a friend who was a submarine person, whatever you want to call him, and submarine engineer, and they said they pack food and supplies in every bit of space that they've got. So they cram the whole boat through. So it's whenever you watch these documentaries of submarines and stuff, yeah, you have the main kind of like the comms area where you've got the control and everything, and that bit is usually the clearest, along with the torpedo room and the engine. Everywhere else is just cram packed. They did the right thing with the bunks, because they had the horrible. I've seen those bunks, and they make me feel claustrophobic just looking at the damn things. I was pissing myself laughing at the beginning because I thought that her husband had been killed by a submarine. So, like a submarine, like driving behind like a lorry, it had like a bit of a submarine on it, and all of a sudden just fell off and crushed the car, killed him. But the other two have survived, and I kept on laughing because I was sort of thinking in my head, she doesn't like submarines because her husband was killed by a submarine. I just don't know. It's like, what was it, Pearl Harbor? Yeah, it was like when they says, "I'll make sure I get home." Yeah, and I imagined like the guy coming off the plane at the end after the raid on Japan and having a plastic bag with body parts in it. And go, there, go, I brought him back. And just one of those divvy thoughts that happened in my head. It was good. It was there was so many Hunt for the Red October reference bits in there. It was a bit ridiculous. It was the cook that got me, because I said to my wife, I said, I've been watching this Vigil thing, and I told Keith one of my predictions, but I left one out, and that one was the cook's got something to do with it. Yeah, and then when it turned out, it was the cook who was the murderer, I was like, oh, you're fucking kidding. I yelled in the house, it's the cook, like that. And my wife's like, oh God, he was right. He's insufferable when he's right. It was the submarine bits. I liked the submarine bits. Everything that happened on the submarine was really good. The relation bit, the flashback for the relationship thing, it felt a bit labored. It felt crowbarred in. All the other stuff I think worked well. I think it felt like Spooks. Remember watching Spooks?
Yeah, the politics side of it felt real, and you could see them blaming the Russians, even though it was the Americans. You can understand why the Americans were shadowing them. All of that was kind of believable. Yeah, okay, the sub was a bit spacious. It's not a Russian Typhoon sub; it's a British Vanguard sub, which is nowhere near that big.
Tiny. They're tiny. They're not the Astute, because the Astute class submarines are bigger. And we have a Dreadnought submarine, which is a ballistic missile submarine. We only have one of them, and that's huge. It's like a bloody aircraft carrier underwater. And they haven't finished building it too, so it's not even live.
The Russian Typhoon, what Red October was, that had a fucking swimming pool in it, believe it or not. There's Russian videos showing submariners swimming in this damn thing. But the Vanguard wasn't that big. The sort of the nuclear missile area was way too big. It felt too spacious.
But felt you're right, like the one from the Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah, but the one from the Hunt for the Red October is pretty accurate. They really were that big. I mean, the Typhoon was a big bitch.
Yeah, those ones were. So I'll be honest with you, I forgive it the space bits, because you've got to have cameramen go around corners and stuff and film and get dramatic angles. And if it's a tight set, you're not going to get any of that stuff on. So I forgave it that. It was like, okay, I'm a nitpicker. I enjoy having a good nitpick at things. I let that go. What was it? You had the Doctor and the Coxman, was it? Is it called a Coxman?
Coxman, yeah. Coxman.
Is it Coxman? I thought it was Bozeman. But he was the what do you call it? The walking HR department, as he described himself. And as soon as I heard that, I was instantly suspicious that he had done something wrong. I wonder why. given all the Hollywood HR and game divisions, HR departments not doing what they should be. Because if he wouldn't have compared himself to that, he would have been fine. I always thought the XO was the chief HR person because he was supposed to take care of the day-to-day running of the ship, so the captain could do the captain stuff without having to worry about the people.
It seemed like, he was like, well, he's second in command, wasn't he, the XO? But he had his ear to the ground a little bit more than the captain. But then the coxsman, whatever his name is, was doing the running around dog's body stuff, and then reporting back to the XO, who would like do whatever he needed to do. Like he had the authority. But there was a little bit of the coxsman. He was so helpful. You're thinking something's up.
He's so helpful because he's hiding something.
Yeah.
I'll help you over in this direction, away from me.
Yeah.
And shagging the
like
doctor.
That. She eventually got. Yeah, that's it. And that was, they were both married, weren't they? The doctor and him.
I'll be honest, I would have gone for the doctor because it's either that or it's that Walsh fella, and I don't think that would have gone down too well.
After 3 months at sea, are you going to get picky?
Yeah, that's the thing with being on naval things. It was good. What's his face? Who is it? Patterson Joseph, who played the captain. The guy.
That's
Joseph. He was in Timeless, and he was in Doctor Who too, and he was in the Peep Show. He's one of the people I've got down for playing the Doctor because he can do creepy. He can do creepy in like a fun way and whatnot. So he was. I liked him as the captain. He was like a nice friendly face, I think. And then you had the old guy, Scottish guy, who seems to play the same part in everything. He's always like the chief inspector, something. That old Scottish fella. But the
guy that played the second in command always plays arseholes really well. But in the end, he was actually a decent guy.
I told you he was a good guy, but he was a rule follower, and that's why he was a bit of an arsehole.
Well, no, but he always plays arseholes. He always plays arseholes, and
that's the XO who gets stabbed at the end.
Yeah, and I thought that scene was although he sacrificed himself, he knew what was coming. He put up a damn good fight, and he's telling her to get the fuck out. And you can see she's gone past him, and she stood there waiting by the door, going, "I wonder what's going to happen here." Like you can see, there's a bloke with a knife trying to stab the person who's just saved you after that person had stuck you in a torpedo tube and tried to drown you, and yet you're stood there waiting to find out why are you not running.
See, that was the other thing too, because he was an arsehole role player, person who had everything by the book. That's why she never got flushed out with all the waste, because he was like, no, we need to sort out the diving suits and stuff. It was a good show. I'm glad I watched it. I think I probably would have enjoyed that more than Killing Eve or The Bodyguard or whatever the ones that you've watched. I think it's because it's a bit more kind of I like the containment side of it.
Killing Eve season 1 is good. The rest of it's pants.
Yeah.
Season 1 is quite good. I watched Free Guy the other day. I quite enjoyed that.
Yes, it was somewhere between the Truman Show and what was the other one?
Lego movie.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on Disney Plus now.
Free, yeah. I watched James Bond. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I finished watching it.
Don't spoil it, but is it the absolute fucking mess that we suspected it, or is it worth it?
It's not a mess whatsoever.
Is it genuinely good?
It's genuinely good, and I know why they held off on when you get a release of a movie, they tend to if it's bad, they wait until the last day. There was a reason they waited till the last day, because they don't want to spoil the things that happen in it.
Right,
definitely worth a watch. I watched it with my son, and that I wouldn't describe it. It was not great, but it was good.
Is it better than Spectre?
Yes,
because Spectre wasn't particularly great.
Yes, better than Spectre. Trust me, better than Spectre. There's some.
Because I'm worried because of all the promotion around it and what's her face yelling her mouth off like she's like the second fucking coming. But on the other hand, Killing Eve season 1 was generally good, and Phoebe Waller-Bridger wrote that. So, but Natasha Lynch, that's her name.
Natasha Lynch, Natasha Lynch. Yeah, she was okay. She was okay. She started off a bit of an arsehole, and then both characters then warmed to each other because he wasn't very happy with her. But yeah, we'll talk about it when you guys have seen it.
Seeing it next weekend.
I recommend seeing it. I do
the
recommend seeing it. The cinemas are
go on.
I think it's going to be the biggest film of this year to date quite easily because the cinema was 95% full. And I think they had a ton of these showings on, and they were trying to get people in and out quickly so they could then put the next showing on because it's 2 hours 45 minutes.
It's a long old movie.
Oh, and there's lots of little nods to other James Bonds. There are so many I lost track.
I'm avoiding as much as I can because it's released here the same as the US. The cinemas have just opened here. And they're putting really old movies in, like Black Widows in the cinemas here, and like movies from the beginning of this year that were released on various streaming services are being released at the cinemas here. We're not getting Venom until December, but that one's already been spoiled for me. I know what happens at the end of Venom, but I
need to go and see that. I need to go and see that one. I think James Bond's going to be the film. I think it's the only one that can beat. It's probably Spider-Man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So anyway, go back to Vigil. Vigil, a good TV series worth the watch. I'll be honest with you, I preferred Netflixing it because I think I'd have got a bit frustrated if I'd had to do week after week. So wait until it's all over and then watching them back to back.
They were.
The other thing too, I was ill, so I enjoyed it more because it was making me feel better.
They did the very typical thing of having an insane cliffhanger at the end of each thing that made you go, oh, I just want to know. Because the end of one was she'd just been left in a torpedo, and you wonder what's going to happen. And then the one before that, she got ran into with a guy with a mask on, and you find out who that is in the start and the next. So they were pretty good with their cliffhangers at the end of each episode.
Yes.
So in that sense, it was a bit horrible to sit there and wait for a week just so you can find out what happened next.
I didn't have to do that. I got to watch them back to back.
Yeah, you did.
Win. You two were going on about it being really good, so I was like, I gotta give it a watch.
So there you go. You like something.
I like something. Yeah, I like loads of stuff. You make it sound like I don't like anything. I hate puppies and kittens, babies and little chirpy, sweet little birds and chocolate and chicken and fried food.
Just before we go on, and as Babster is in the thing, your little blog, I have not laughed that hard all week. It was very, very funny. And the fact that I knew that I was like, how many fucking takes has he done here? And the fact that you included the end, and Baxter just kept pissing himself laughing.
He set me off too. That was the worst thing because I could see him going.
And I knew Nigel was like, I'm going to make a comment about it. It was all right. That video will get released during the week, so you guys can watch it. If I know there's so many people are not going to get it, but again, it's my humor, and it was we're in the car now. And the fact that you just didn't feature any of the act, it was just the traveling there and back, pretty much.
We made a point of deliberately not.
Yeah, I know that's the point, but that's what makes it funny.
See, that's it's the whole thing is not to be interesting whatsoever. The problem is that Nigel a couple of times in front of those videos sounded really upbeat and chirpy, and I'm like, I can't use that. I can't use that. It's too happy. It needs to be like flat for it to work.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking what we'll do is we'll record ourselves turning up and Babster turning up when we see that, and walk up, go, you right, mate? All right, shake hands. See you later then. Bye.
Yes.
2-hour journey for that.
But yes, I had to edit. Right, Babster says he's going to put his shop video up today. I apologise to you, Nigel, for making you look really special in that video. It's just I took that photo of you, and that photo of you was terrible, and I have no idea how I managed to make it look. I had 2 terrible photos of Nige, and I'm like, that's the worst one. That's getting used.
Stuck them both in.
Yes. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Babylon 5 reboot. Now, Nige does not know anything about Babylon 5. I think Babylon 5, I would say that it's probably responsible for the serialization of US TV.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that US TV didn't do. British TV did it, but US TV never did serialization. It always had to reset.
It certainly didn't do it in sci-fi. I mean, you know, this was the first sort of continuing story throughout. And
so
it's
you
a
mean
bloody
instead
good
of
one.
it being sort of monster of the week,
procedural, yeah,
everything is a single.
There were multiple story arcs going all at once, and some of them intersected, and some of them just ran parallel. And it was as a piece of TV, it was a very complex story, and it was great to watch the first time round, which was fantastic. I think
the reason why it's still beloved so much because the effects were really not good. I mean, you know, the White Stars are kind of the coolest ships ever sort of really conceived, but the effects weren't particularly great, but it was, the story was just so damn good and so damn compelling that you just had to come back and back and back, and you can see where it's influenced everything. We were talking about this last week in Foundation. There is definitely some Centauri Prime in Trantor's look.
Yes, there's definitely some Centauri Prime in that. That's because it's weird because before there was an announcement at Doctor Who, I was pining after Doctor Who. I was watching these people do these musical videos where they get bits of Doctor Who, they cut the clips up and they put some music over it and make it as emotional as possible. It usually really works well. And I've been watching them thinking, God, I miss Doctor Who. When's Doctor Who actually coming back? And then the Russell T Davies music broke. And then I was watching Foundation, and me and you were chatting away about Foundation, and we were kind of Centauri Prime and whatnot. And it's I kind of miss B5. That'd be great if B5 could come back. And then all of a sudden, B5's coming back, and I'm like, I wish they could change the name of Snickers back to Marathon.
I wish that we could get a decent Star Trek show.
Oh, that's too much. You broke it.
Yeah,
you broke the wishing stone. It's screwed now.
You've got one. It's called the Orville, mate.
Oh, that is true. And guess what? Season 3 is coming in March.
Yes, season 3 is
coming. That was announced this week.
March.
You are right, Nige. You are right. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know my sci-fi, but I know the Orville's all right.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to cancel you on something because I hadn't realized what network that this was going to be showing on. Because, I mean, you hear that, they're rebooting B5. You're like, what rebooting B5? Then, but JMS is writing it and producing it and directing it. And blah. Okay. It's on the CW. But Superman and Lois is on CW, and Superman and fucking Lois is probably the best thing that's ever been on the CW. So, and it is genuinely, the first season of Superman is genuinely the best Superman show ever made. And genuinely, I think he's become probably the best Superman. So, there is a glimmer of hope. CW seem to be wanting to change their image a bit. They
seem to want to make programs that people want to watch rather than saying stupid things. So instead of the correct thing is, we wish to entertain everyone. Yeah. We wish to entertain everyone, and we will make a program for everyone so everyone can watch. Yeah. And they talk about fucking inclusion, but they don't do inclusion. Yeah. We got too many men watching. So we need more women watching, more Sam and Dean Winchester, because they love that shit. So yeah, it's I don't know. But anyway, going back one, right? So I think I was speaking to you about this, and I said that it might be what the prequel trilogy to Star Wars was in this case. So you had Babylon 5, the first series. It was great. Everyone loved it. There were twists and turns and stuff in there, and everyone kind of engaged in it. And then you get the kind of prequel stuff. And I'm worried that it might be more prequel than the original kind of B5. But as I said to you, there are lots of leftover storylines that never got to resolve. So there are lots of things there. Put your phone down.
Sorry, I'm just somebody keeps calling me.
Do you think they might start at the end and continue from there?
Well, they're saying it's a reboot.
No,
reboot.
Reboot. So
he said the guy who created it. He said, "Look, I've got more writing tools in my work belt than I had when I put this together." And to be honest with you, complexity wise for plot, he did one of the best kind of plotters, shall we say. Him and Stephen Moffat are great plotters. They can plot things out as long as they're allowed to finish the bloody things off. And now Stephen Moffat kind of melts down if he can't finish his bits off. Where JMS had things called trapdoors, where he'd have an out if he wanted to get back with it. So one of the characters, Talia Winters, she works for the Psychor, and the Psychor group of psychic humans. They're like telepaths and bits. And they loan out telepaths to help out with negotiations because they scan the other person and tell if they're lying or not, so they can cut through the bullshit so they can get on with doing negotiations. Then you have the psychops, who are the ones that are supposed to police them to make sure they don't scan anyone, and that Talia Winters character was found to be like a double agent. So what the psychops did is they put another personality in her head. One that would sit there in a subconscious and spy on everyone. So if you scanned her as a telepath, you wouldn't find that she was the secret agent. So it made a perfect secret agent. So she'd carry on, blah blah blah. Anyway, she gets scanned. She gets found out that she's the secret agent, and then she disappears. But JMS wrote a trapdoor in there so they could bring her back. Because in the first series, note that this is at the beginning of the first series, note at the end of the second series, she gets found out to be the spy. So at the beginning of the first series, Ambassador Kosh, who's a Vorlon who has to walk around in a spacesuit constantly. Everyone's like, oh, looks really bad fucking animatronics. It's a spacesuit, you dummy. All right? That was always got me, because it was like, oh, no, it's a spacesuit, you fucking idiot. He's not allowed to come out because he can't breathe their atmosphere. He hired like this weird cybernetic android person, and they were doing negotiation between the two of them, but they were talking bollocks to her, and Talia Winters is observing this, and what happened was Kosh had backed up her original personality, so if they needed it they could bring her back, but they never did anything with it. And then there's other things like Bureau 13 and stuff like that, but really good. That's but so much they concentrate on all the good things.
It's quite an expansive war, but do you think they're going to go back and do the Shadow War again?
The Shadow War, yeah. It's going to be the Shadow War. My problem is I'm worried that it's going to get cancelled at Series 4. He'll rush it, cram 2 series worth of entertainment into one season, which everyone will go, "Oh fuck me, that was brilliant." And then we get to the last series, like I played out all my trump cards. It's like I've only got like all the bits that would have been in the last 2 episodes to space across the last season. That's my worry, because it's happened once. It can happen again.
I mean, it's going to feature a character called John Sheridan. They've already said that in the premise. So it's Sheridan right from the offset. So whether we get them, I just don't know if they're going to do Minbar, Centauri, and Narns again. And the thing is, I don't know. I mean, when they redid Battlestar worked because the characters were so vastly different. But the characters, to me, B5 is that thing in my heart, and all of those characters. I can't see them bringing them back in again. The guy that played Shakar, who's died, Delenn recently tragically passed away. What's his place who played
the Doctor Richard Briggs?
Centauri. Sorry, my brain's gone.
Peter Jurasik died.
Yeah, I think he might still be around.
I'm sure he's still alive. It was what's so much she died recently because he died of a weird fucking blood disease, which is like rare as rocking or shit, and that was just like what because she'd been in other things too, so it's yes. Hang on a second. All right, this is a really good point because B5 is closer to Lord of the Rings than it is to Star Trek storyline wise.
Yes.
Yep, it's the spacey Lord of the Rings. So the first bit made sense, and then the second bit you lost me.
The thing that I'm going to admit, right, that does slightly excite me is are they going to take the original White Star design and update that for modern graphics? Because I think if I see that ship come up, I'm just going to be going, especially when it fucking does that swing around thing and starts firing as it's going backwards.
It's that first episode when I see an updated Star Fury flying around. That'll be the bit that makes me go, ooh, if they do it right. Or make me go, oh, this has gone hideously wrong. It looks like it's melted. Because the Star Fury is a great thingy. And
the Star Furies were cool.
Hang on a second. The Expanse owes a lot to the bloody Star Furies because of the movement. Yeah, when they put together the B5, they went, spaceships in Star Trek don't move like spaceships do in real life. They went, yeah, no. And then the people, because they're doing computer graphics editing on Amiga 600s, Nigel, they chained together 30 Amiga 600s. Yeah, still probably 500s, but who's counting? To make the graphics for the first season, and then they got proper industrial equipment. Second season, you can see the jump in special effects. That program where you move around in that program, it fills the gaps in, so it moves it like it would in space. And the design too, it's like in Expanse, they have to flip around to slow down, but the Star Furies have big, massive engines at the front and back that allows them to slow down.
Can I just highlight a particular comment? Hello there, Brandon.
Nige, mate.
Yeah.
You're about 5 minutes behind.
Yeah,
He's clearly not paying attention.
No, you two talking about stuff.
Pay attention, 007.
Listen,
pay attention.
Whatever you talk about goes over my head.
I don't know.
I
love that comment. That's brilliant.
I'm treating this with.
We might as well. We might
on.
as well end the show now. That was.
I don't know if he's right though. Partly because who is involved.
We don't know.
Partly because I think CW are genuinely realizing that all of their DC properties are in the dirt. They cancelled Supergirl because it's shit. The Flash is
they're cancelling because What's the Machine didn't renew a contract and she was pregnant.
No, they're cancelling because it was shit. They're just using that as an excuse. The ratings dropped after season 4 because of that stupid fucking race bullshit thing that was just cliche crap. Supergirl is god awful. The Flash is god awful, and I refuse to watch that show now anyway because of how the actors sold out the guy that was playing Elongated Man so very quickly. But Superman is genuinely good. I really, really, really did enjoy that. And yes, okay, Lois is a super strong woman, but she's a written character. She has motivation. She makes mistakes. She's not fucking perfect. And it works. And it works really well. And the relationship between them.
But if you go back to B5 and some of the lessons that it kind of taught you, kind of taught you about how, like, holding grudges, how countries hold grudges against each other for years and years and years, and how that can, maybe take them down a more darker path, because if one of them decides to snap and go at the other one, then there's a problem, and it's weird because it was quite good because it kind of it let you see it from both sides and you'd understand, and then you understand the flip. And then it threw the shadows in there because it's like the ones that causes who caused the flip.
Again, one of the greatest speeches of all time. This is why B5 was also ahead of its time. One of the greatest speeches, Susanna Vonover. God
the best...
sent me.
Oh,
I'm sure you've spoken about that one before.
Oh, dude,
Yes, we have
it's such a powerful speech, and you just like, if you were an alien, even if she was in like a tiny little fucking ship with like one missile in it, you'd still be shitting yourself because that speech is like, you know, this is the bit where she goes, "God sent me." It's just like, oh, I'm not going to mess with her.
To be fair, an alien race would have a different god, but hey.
No, she was this was when she was talking to these
Earth Alliance
ships that were using dodgy technology, and I don't know. You see, are they going to do that? Are they going to do are they going to do the sort of revolt on Earth? Are they going to do Sheridan going, or are they going to completely change it? I don't know how they're going to do it. Are they going to concentrate on the sort of Drac?
There is so much, but all I know is
the
one
techno
thing
mages.
Yeah, there was that aspect that wasn't put through properly. Yeah, I was just like, kind of. I think Jakar probably had the best speech in the entire thing in the second season, where the Centauri have invaded his planet and they literally decimated it by dropping rocks on it from orbit. Oh, Expanse! You can thank Babylon 5 for that one, right? Because they're throwing rocks, and that was done back in the 90s. And it was frowned upon too with them, apart from they need to put stealth coating on it and let it go around the
but they wrote the guys that write the Expanse series have admitted to being B5 fans. You know that, right?
I know that, and I also know that they wrote it because they were not happy with the end of Mass Effect 3.
Yes,
that was the bit that got me. It was like, we were not happy with them, and so we decided to write our own story. They decided to write their own game, but then they turned it into a book because it was easier.
Entire fucking series written between one Game of Thrones book and the next. Just saying. I know that I might mention this a little bit, but the entire fucking series of books, that's like 8-9 books written between what Game of Thrones books. Lazy bastard. Right.
I'd just like to point out that when they finished filming that ninth and final season of Expanse, after it comes back from its wait, and that book hasn't come out.
30 years time when all the actors come back to finish off the Expanse series, and that fucking book is still not going to be out.
Yeah. So yeah, it was Beef. I loved B5. It was such compelling characters and story and stuff. It had great plots, and then it matched them up with the characters, because it was a case that you built the characters up, and then here's the plot, and then it's like, shit, watch the character react to that, and it's it was great, and there was like, I think Londo had a couple of premonitions, which happened early on. And the premonitions were the one that Jakar would kill him. Yeah, so a one-eyed Jakar would be killing him in the throne room on Centauri Prime, was one of his visions. The other one was a great hand reaching out from space, like Fate. And then there was the freaking shadow ships as they came in. It was,
the Londo's death and the twist around it was so brilliantly done and clearly planned. This is the thing, right? That you get this premonition. What was it, season 2, right?
Yes.
And there is no payoff, Nige. Until the freaking movie, 3 seasons down the line.
Hold on a second. I'd just like to point out that he mentions it in episode 1 to Garibaldi.
Yeah.
The dream. He says, it goes, Centauri have this thing where we're allowed, we get like a vision of the future, so we know how we're going to die. So that way we can go boldly and do things and not have to worry about getting wiped out or anything like that. And lost Nigel. And he says that I saw him, and he's the one who kills me when I'm an old man. And then when you find out how he does it, and then it's the bit where it's like, kind of, as long as Jakar's got both eyes, everything's fine. And then the Centauri Emperor turns around and goes, I don't like the way he's looking at me. Remove one of his eyes. I go, which one? Do I have to make every decision? It's like, no, that's right. Apparently, that guy is a stage actor, and he was flying backwards and forwards from New York, and he was filming B5 in the morning and doing his stage play and the thingy and barely sleeping. So his craziness wasn't necessarily his acting; it was the fact that he was a bit sleep deprived. great. Katarsia was fantastic.
Londo's death is so tragic in so many ways, but in another way, you think Shakar is doing it out of malice, and when Shakar does it out of friendship, but it wasn't just mercy; it was friendship. They had become friends in a way. They had become friends, and that just made it so much more poignant. And this is the thing, it people always bang on about 60s Trek and how how dodgy all the sets are, and I sometimes find it difficult to see past that. Don't get me wrong, there is the odd good episode of 1960s Trek, but they're not there's a lot of bad ones. B5 even now, and I watched it the whole lot last year, I think. And I watched the whole lot again. Even though the effects are really bad, even though some of the sets you can see clearly moving in the background, it is all forgiven because the writing is so damn good that you forgive the show. You forgive it all. The writing is so captivating. Hell, they could have all been dressed up in cardboard boxes and you'd still carry on watching it because the story is that good. So, yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I'm kind of intrigued because it's JMS doing it. So it's done by its original creator. I just hope that that we can see if it's any good or not.
Yeah. It's all right. Nigel's got a little problem. He's got to go and sort out. So he's going to just disappear on us. Sorry about that. Everything gets sorted out, mate. And see you soon. Yeah, it's great. He can write. The guy can write. It's clear that he can write. Okay, he did one bad Spider-Man story that people didn't like, but he did a lot more than the one bad Spider-Man story. And
no, okay, now hang on. I've got that series of comics. I like it. Yeah, it was controversial. Some Spider-Man fans didn't like it because of what they did with Mary Jane. But funny enough, the latest Spider-Man 3 film is heavily influenced by it.
Yes, it is. But as I said, he can write, and especially this is his passion project. This is the thing he wants to do the most, other than Doctor Who, which he's not allowed to do because he's an American. Sorry, mate. Apparently, the BBC are prejudiced towards people not born in their own
wondering
country.
if the BBC did offer it to him, because now that this has obviously been in the works for a while, and Doctor Who B5 reboot, I can see why he's gone down the B5 reboot. So,
I think they were going for. I think they were reaching for the reset switch, especially after what you have Stephen King's son. After we heard about Stephen King's son, yeah, and he came to him with stories and stuff, and Moffat said, you can write one good story, that's fine, but I want 3 from you. That was his rule. If you turned up on these doors, said I can write for Doctor Who because you wrote me 3 good episodes and go and come back, which is quite a good thing because I need to see if you can consistently write. Which is fine because you might just have that one script that's fantastic, but you want to write here, that's fine. You've got to be consistent, which is a good thing, and it shows that you had standards. And it's always the A talent hires A talent, B talent always hires C talent, and we have current day Doctor Who, which is gash, absolute gash, and I can't wait for it to be over. And I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The question is that a light at the end of the tunnel and a shovel of shit to deal with? All right, B5 is going to be. It'll be great if it's back and it's good, and we get to talk about it on the podcast, so we get to kind of relive some of our youth through this. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be good.
Greatest gift you ever gave me, Gareth. B5.
Those VHSs were heavy.
Yeah.
Yes, because I let you watch a few, and you're like, it's not bad. And I went and start watching because I think I gave you. I think there's 3 when they.
I'd seen the TV movie at school and didn't like it originally, and then you went, "No, you've got to watch more of it. You've got to watch more of it. You've got to watch beyond season 1. You've got to watch season 2." And it was like I started watching it, and I was going, "Okay, this is better than I thought." Okay, Gav, give me the next video. You're going to become my dealer. Do you want the next video?
Yes, you described me as your drug dealer.
You want that? Give me the next video.
Oh, dude, that's before streaming. That's the good old days of TV. Anyway, a time where life was a lot more simpler and things got done in a lot more with a lot more effort. But Marvel, What If? The previous version of What If me and Nigel talked about, and we decided it was gash because it was just bimbo Thor goes for a booze up and then gets told off by his mum with Captain Marvel. I'll be honest with you, Captain Marvel in that I didn't find that much bothersome. She was more bothersome in her own film. And in this one, she gets her ass kicked by Ultron in one kind of like thing, which is made me smile because I'm not a fan of Superman because he's unstoppable. And it makes more sense for him to be the villain, and that's probably why I like The Dark Knight Returns, because that's the first time I saw Superman make any sense. So yeah, that was good. The kind of killed Thanos off a little too quickly. Yeah. If it would have had if it had been a bit more of a rumble, or you just insinuated that they may have fought for like 2 or 3 days straight, then yeah. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that, and it's got a follow on, which comes from another episode. I'm a little annoyed because they made Uatu black, and I don't know why. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what the point was. Sorry, I know why they did it, but I just like kind of. I always pictured him as this like big Mekon sort of person sitting on the moon, watching things happen, and that kind of bugged me because it was like kind of Jeffrey Rush can't. Is it not Jeffrey Rush? Jeffrey, what's his name? Jeffrey. What's the actor's name? Voices Uatu. He was in it. He's in Bloody James Bond. I watched him just like not an hour ago. I can't.
Oh, you're talking about Jeffrey. Oh, it's the guy that played Felix, isn't it, in Bond?
You're as slow as Nigel. I'm going to start doing this podcast on my own.
It's Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. Okay. It's like, well, Jeffrey Wright can't voice a white character. That kind of bugs me because I've watched Uatu in cartoons. I don't think I've had any comics with him in. I'll be honest with you.
But hang on, but Jeffrey Wright isn't. Is he black? I don't think he is. I think he's black. Hispanic.
He might be Hispanic, but the long and the short of it is, why didn't they keep the character white?
I don't know.
Or why did they not have him so he's got that weird glassy infinity look that they had at the beginning?
I like his voice.
I like his voice too.
He's a great actor. I mean, he was people's. He's he's not. He's what is he? Where's he from? Because he played People's Fernandez in the original Shaft from what's his face's Shaft, and best fucking lines in the entire movie. Born in Washington, he's graduate. Yeah, he's what do they call it? Latino. He's Latino.
You see?
But he's got a brilliant voice, and
he has got a brilliant voice,
and he's a very good actor. Actually, I mean, I think he's a very talented actor. I mean, he's a very good character actor in the fact that he can really change his parts. As I said, he played People Fernandez in Samuel L. Jackson's first Shaft movie, and he's fucking brilliant in that film. I can quote that movie,
but
line for line.
But there was the bit where he could put on his Goku armor, and it's like he doesn't need to do that shit. He's the Watcher. The Watcher's not that powerful, if I remember correctly. He just knows a lot of stuff. If you put him next to a Celestial, on the Celestial totem pole, he's right towards the bottom. Yeah, the Watcher is power wise. So, and the other thing too, Ultron's fucking Infinity Gems worked outside the universe. I mean, everyone's like, how? We've already had it's contradictory bollocks. I hate it. It drives me up the wall. The writers need to get together, and there needs to be someone in charge of sorting continuity out. But the long and short of it is, it was a good episode. The whole Hawkeye and Black Widow. There's a traipsing through the facilities to find Zola to help, which is quite good. I like that. That was quite a good thing. And I got Toby Jones to voice Zola for that. He was, I liked him as the bad guy. He's like nemesis team up. I like the term is when you have to team up your bad guy to take down an even bigger bad guy. And I enjoyed that aspect of it where they was trying to sort that out. And he's like watching. He's like, kind of fucking, is that one there? It's in that one, you dumbasses. Fuck it. It's like, you fucking idiots. Yeah. That was good to see that. So it was a good episode. I can't wait to see the next part of it. I want to see what Evil Strange does to Ultron, because he'll probably find some novel uses, and that'd be good too. So that's interesting. I don't know how they're going to break down some barriers, maybe fly through some other places and stuff. So maybe the Stephen Strange character gets his redemption at the cost of killing off Ultron and saving the rest of the multiverse and whatnot. So yeah, I
think it's interesting. I think there's going to be a team up, and I think there's going to be a team up of various different Avengers across the multiverse, as you said. What I do find, what's the way? Some of the voice acting is really bad. Like the guy that plays Tony Stark, not good. It's the same guy that voiced.
He's got melted face.
But no, the voice acting isn't good. Like the person that does Black Widow, really good. The person, obviously, it's some of the actors are the original actors. I.e., it's Cumberbatch who's actually playing Doctor Strange. The guy that did Peter Parker was pretty good, but then some of the acting is just really bad. Like I didn't realize it is Eva Jan Lilly playing the Wasp. It didn't sound like her at all. But yeah, some of the voice acting is bad, but some of it's okay. So. But it's going to be an interesting final episode this week. I think it's like Ultron. Why the hell didn't they get back what's his face to play Ultron? I mean, whoever's doing Ultron, it just sounds really bad. But whoever's doing Ultron was bad.
Yeah, it was James Spader so much better. But yeah, it's because they take budget, isn't it? Because he was in a massive TV show that got in tens of millions of viewers. And they're not going to get in tens of millions of viewers, so they've got to pay a man for tens of millions of viewers price, if you know what I mean. It was good. I'm hoping the next one will be. They've had. I don't know. I'm gonna have to count the duds versus the good ones. So we'll have to work that out. So I got a feeling that they might recruit a few people. I think you might get Captain Britain. I'm going to call her Captain Britain because she's been fucking Captain Britain because she's not Captain America. You can't be a British citizen and be Captain America. That doesn't make any sense. And they missed loads of things they could have done with that. That really pissed me off. I would have preferred the idea that she beat Hydra. Normally, she didn't get frozen. Yeah. And then she gets to the Battle of New York and she's old. Yeah. But she can fight. And then she dies off, maybe pushing the fucking nuke into the thingy and stopping the Chitauri invasion.
I can see her coming in to it.
We've got her. Who else we got in there?
We're going to have two versions of Doctor Strange. So we're going to have weird, evil Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange. I think we're going to have a Tony Stark, Hawkeye, maybe Black Widow. But I don't know. We're obviously going to have Thor, but it's probably going to be Party Animal Thor. And then Hulk. But I don't know how it's going to finish, but it's been interesting. This whole multiverse. This whole multiverse thing, they're really hammering it now, aren't they? I mean, the whole Venom twist is that it's one of the multiverses, and so we know that. So clearly, I think Peter Parker might turn up in the delayed what's his face movie?
Delayed
the vampire.
Oh, Michael Morbius.
Morbius, yeah. So I you know, the more that the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire claim that they're not in this in Spider-Man 3, the more I think they are. So and the fact that Alfred Molina has put out that it literally he gets taken away from when he's sinking into that lake, going bye bye, and he's immediately transported into the new universe. He does not know that that's Peter Parker. So when he goes, "Hello, Peter," like that, he's saying that to Tobey Maguire.
What's his mission? Quantum leaping. He gets detached from his body, and then he possesses the others. And then what happens is the bad guys all team up alongside the evil Doctor Strange at the end, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm outnumbered. There's no way I can take these on." And then the other two Spider-Men come up, and maybe Venom. Yeah, that's what I think happens, because that's what you want to happen. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing that's happening. That'd be a great thing, because all of a sudden it's like kind of, oh no, he's at his last, and then the other two turn up, and you're like, yeah, it's going to kick some ass. Yeah.
The fact that Marvel has allowed Venom to be now officially connected to the MCU, although not, it's connected to the MCU multiverse. The fact that that has happened is probably what inked the deal with Sony, because what's her face at Sony's got an absolute boner for the Sinister Six and has had it for years. This is their way of doing the Sinister Six movie.
Sinister Six is cool.
Yeah, no, it is, but the Andrew Garfield movies didn't do a very good job of trying to bring in the Sinister Six. But now we're going to have Doc Ock, we're going to have the decent version of the Goblin, hopefully, William Dafoe's Goblin, and Venom, technically all in the same universe. This could happen, and it could be good. You know, what's his face's Venom is brilliant. Okay, was the first Venom movie amazing? No, but there were moments in it that are really good. And I think the second Venom movie, by all accounts, is really good. And obviously you get the J. Jonah Jameson end scene, which is kind of like bing! And I love the fact they brought what's his face. That was the clue. What's his face coming back as Jonah Jameson at the end of Spider-Man 2. That was the clue. And it was a genius move.
He is one of the best bit of superhero casting ever.
Yes.
I'm not joking.
Jameson. He is the living, breathing.
He got him. Character nailed him perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm a bit annoyed they want him to play bloody Gordon in the what do you call it in the DCEU, but yeah. Anyway, there was a Batman trailer. Did you see the Batman trailer?
No, I haven't seen the new trailer.
You've not seen the new Batman? It was last week.
No, I haven't seen it.
2 weeks ago. Have you not seen the Batman? It actually looks all right. The problem is we're going to get probably hit with a copyright claim. I might say strike. Let's see if we can find it. It actually looks quite good. It was not 1 year ago, 2 weeks ago. That's what I want there. Boom. All right, bear with me a second. I will share this and we will look at the Batman before we disappear. And I'll probably have to trim this bit out of the video, but hey ho. For those here, let's enjoy it. Bump, bump, bump. Bump. And bump.
Secret friend.
Jeffrey Rush.
Right.
Right.
Jeffrey Rush is the pirate in Barbossa in Pirates of the Caribbean.
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
Oh. That's London.
Scotland, the previous one was with the Dennis Street.
How many lives will you destroy in pursuit of what you call justice? You are the product of everything you fear. You're part of this too. How am I part of this?
Is this kind of like is this going to be an R-rated Batman? Because
I have no idea.
only in theaters. Don't know when.
I have no idea. I'll be honest with you, but it looks interesting.
It does. I'll give you that. It does. It does. Is it going to be in the vein of the Joker movie? Kind of that dark kind of grittiness. Are we going uber dark? Are we just saying fuck it? Let's make it an 18. Remove all campness from it and go uber dark.
Could be. Anyway, we've hit the end.
And then we get the Flash movie soon as well. With the only reason I'm interested in seeing that is see Michael Keaton back as Batman. That's going to be.
That's not a reason to watch a film. That really isn't a reason to watch a film. Yeah, you want a decent story. That's why you want to watch a film. You want to see Flashpoint play out. That's the reason to watch a film. So, anywho, we hit the hour mark. I think we'll wrap this up. I'm on later at 9:15 UK time. I'm going to be talking to another YouTuber called The Ambassador. I'm going to be talking about fandom, which should be interesting. I'll put that out as a podcast after we're done. Hopefully everything will be fine, and we won't have any technical issues. I'm worried about I've got technical issues on the brain for that, but yeah, hopefully it'll go fine, and I'll pop that out. And then Saturday, we were supposed to do factoids this Saturday, but I was feeling very grim, and I just wrapped myself in a blanket and watched Vigil all of Saturday. So we're going to do factoids next weekend, and hopefully everything will be cool. So thank you very much for watching. If you got it this far, can we get a like, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch? Just give us a like. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week, maybe with a Nigel, maybe without a Nigel. I don't know. He's a man of international mystery, and we'll leave it that way. Keith, anything to say?
No, it's been groovy.
And on that note, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later, guys.
Just a quick warning about the James Bond film. He accidentally gets killed by Lashana Lynch in Crossfire and then bleeds to death right towards the end. I warned you.